Although I entered with quite excitement to come in, it's been a bit of a rough entry into UHISA. I haven't quite been. My predecessor took leave, unfortunately, so I didn't quite get a handover from him. But we're working on getting a handover from me now. So I've just kind of been stumbling along as I go and doing the best I can. And so my main remit, as you all know, is clubs and societies. And I did spend a lot of July and August trying to contact club members, discovering that July is not really a good time to talk to any students because they're really not around. And August, a bit the same too. This might be something worth looking into next year if July is the best time for a sabbatical officer to start. I'm not too sure. And I'm trying to stay in contact with the club presidents as much as I can. I think a lot of them aren't aware that they have to re-affiliate every year, so this has been a bit of a struggle getting the proper paperwork and things. It's not a long process to re-affiliate or start a club or society, but it is paperwork, and no one likes paperwork, and so there is a bit of a struggle, but we are currently trying to do that. The website, as some of you will know, is a bit of a tricky situation. The ideal situation is that all clubs and societies will be posted on the website. People can join so I know how many people are in a club and society. People do need to vote, join. Got the word vote in my head today. Join via the website. So it's for matters of insurance, but it's also a matter to see growth. If a club has a vision of growing members, how do we know that club is growing if we have no record of how many people are there? So it's a process because most clubs or societies want a base group page because we all know that is the best way to engage with all of our students. And frankly, the UHISA webpage isn't the greatest webpage. We're all trying to work through it. But it is a work in progress, and I'm determined to figure out the best way to move forward for all club presidents. And the intention certainly is for all presidents to have the facility to be admins for their club and society, so they can advertise, so they can post, they can reach out that way. Moving on, 2 new clubs. The first meeting we had was in August. 2 new clubs were affiliated: the Mature Student Society and the Computing Society. The Computing Society is growing and growing and growing. Mature Student Society, I would love to see branches of that everywhere because we are a UHI full of mature students. We gave £1,000 worth of funding out, and then you guys can read on my papers the list of reaffiliated clubs we have. There's a lot of interest in starting new ones, which is great. You can read on there. There's a list, and there's many more discussions I've been having with people about new clubs and new societies. I do want to look at the process of how people join the club or society because I think it's kind of an awkward, cold process, and I am working on actually developing a starter pack that makes it a little bit, questions are answered, a little bit friendlier process than I think it has been in the past. Freshers tour, I did go around places to try to, again, tell people what UHISA is. I'm still quite well aware people still don't know what UHISA is, and that we got to change that. I'm not going to go into my rough road, but you all know the situation that is UHISA. It has been an incredibly tough couple months, and you can read that yourself, but I have been supported by UHI staff. Student council in Rachel's absence, with the help. It's come down to me, and so if there's complaints or problems, yes, come see me, but be patient. As I said, I was not expected to run student council, but here we are, and it's the second day we so far survived. So, sorry, I'm not good at talking short. John has a hoodie problem. I have a problem talking. So, okay, is that it? Any questions?
We'll see if we have any questions before we run off quickly. Is there anyone in the room who has any questions? Yes.
The starter pack you mentioned, what would that be for new societies?
Yes,
what would it involve?
The intention is first go on the website. Say, one, if you're thinking about starting a club or society, these are the steps. But it also the intention is if you do start a club or society, from the starter pack, it would be simple questions of how do I write a constitution, how do I promote my club best, how, funding questions, what's the best way to write a funding bid, just things like that. So, okay.
What's the UHISRD and UHICAC?
Sustainable Rural Development is SRD. And
CAC?
UHI Craft and Art.
Craft and Art.
That's their name.
Well,
that's I didn't choose it. They chose it. Craft and Art instead of Arts and Crafts. Right? Okay. Anything else?
Anyone on VC? Neil?
You mentioned in your paper a bit of difficulty with the handover from the previous person in your position. I was just wondering if you had... Sorry, am I a bit quiet?
Yeah.
I'm looking volume.
At the top.
Obviously. Just try and pitch you up a bit. Is that...
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
A little bit.
A bit.
Okay.
There we go.
Well, basically, it's just I saw in the paper there were some issues with the handover from the previous vice president, and I was wondering what your thoughts were on how to make sure that happens better in the future, and just to kind of confirm with you that you are committed to doing that when you reach the end of your time in office with the next person.
Ooh, a loaded question, Neil. I think there was just a series of circumstances that led to me not getting a handover. So from Alan not being able to do it, and just the timing of things. So I would do my best if when it is time for me to go to ensure that the next VP. Again, we need to keep in mind that the structure isn't going to be around forever, that we need to keep that in perspective is when we're talking. I would do my best to ensure that I could help a future VP in what I feel are priorities for the VP. I think part of the problem is my position, my remit is really about clubs and societies, and that's what I ran for, and that's what I was elected for. And just because the system of UHISA, there's sometimes expectations in everybody's job that I don't feel I'm trained or equipped to do. So it would be my hope that the next VP would, one, be able to focus really on what they were elected for and be trained in those areas specifically. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay.
I see you have a pencil there, Michael. Are you coming in? You're speaking, but we can't hear you.
You're muted.
No, we still can't hear you.
I'm afraid. No,
Can't hear you,
we
Michael.
still can't hear you.
Speaker's not working.
Are you okay now?
Yep.
Oh, there we are.
Yep. Two explanations. I'm not hearing you all that clear. First thing I want to say is it's good to see you, Dane. How are you? And all the very best if I don't see you again before you move on. I wanted to contribute to this aspect because it's long ago struck me that the idea of the handover is impractical, in the sense that if you're handing over to someone who's just defeated you in an election, you're not going to be too keen, human nature being what it is, you're not going to be enthused about it. It's going to be a duty, and it's a duty that people don't generally observe. In my limited experience of UHISA. So, one of the alternatives to the handover, or a supplement to it, would be something that has been talked about before, and something which Rachel brought up some little time ago, and that is the updating of what are called handbooks. The idea being that each office bearer keeps a set of notes of the duties that he or she has carried out, and perhaps in a calendar form or with a calendar aspect to it, which sets out, maybe at the very outset, what, according to the Constitution, which as you all know, or as you know I'm critical of, are the duties, and then more or less a series of tips on how to carry out these duties. That's what I think the handbook envisages. Now, I have never seen a handbook, but in fairness to Rachel, one of the things that she prompted me to do when I was reviewing the Constitution was, would I review the handbooks? And bluntly, I said no, and I now regret that I did say no, because it's something I could possibly have tackled. So I think, can I suggest that you give consideration as a student council to the proposition that the idea of the handbooks be revived. I'm very sorry that you're not able to hear me at the outset, and that means that I've taken even longer than usual to make my point.
I don't think there's a question there, Michael, but I would absolutely say a handbook is a good idea.
Yes, one more question, then we're afraid we're going to have to move on shortly. We've got a few more reports, and we also have within the section the minutes from last council. Fire away.
You'll have to excuse my ignorance here, because I'm not too well read up on these proceedings, but you're saying that the handover happens in June, traditionally, and graduation happens in May. Do you ever find yourself in a situation where the last person's already got their degree, whatever, and simply left?
Not to my historical knowledge. Melissa, you might have a recollection of such an event, perhaps?
Yeah, official graduation is the earliest one is Newcastle in August. We have later graduations in traditional universities, but no, we haven't had that be a problem. But the reason it is June is for anyone that is coming in from their studies, maybe taking up a full-time sabbatical or whatever, they are free to do that training at that point. So I've never experienced it in my 4 or 5 years working here that has been an issue. The issue was with Alan was that he had to take a placement, and this is the first year really that we've had a part-time student officer, which presents its own problems for the students. They have commitments with their studies, placements, and all these things. So that's something we need to cycle.
Certainly is an old month, because nobody's around.
But the reason it was chosen for June is so that students are free from their studies at that point, in particular for the officers that are starting full time.
Everyone hear Melissa well done. I should also say that Melissa is the UHI student development manager and has worked. I'm going to embarrass her. She's worked with UHISA for many years and probably has more experience than most of the officers after that time, and has been an invaluable source of information and support over that period of time. So we're very pleased to have her with us today. Many of you probably have met her before, but some of you might not have.